Now, up to this point in this section, we always started by directly telling ChatGPT with DALL-E 3 that it should create an image. Now, it's still ChatGPT though. Even though you might have DALL-E 3 enabled here, you don't have to use it to create images, at least not immediately. If you never plan to create an image, you don't need to be in that mode. But you could, for example, start by giving it some other task. For example, here I'm telling ChatGPT that it should write a blog post, something which it of course is able to do and which initially doesn't need the creation of any images. So let's see which result it produces here. Well, this looks decent, I guess. Of course, it would now be nice to have some images. And with DALL-E 3 enabled, we can now get some. For example, here I'm telling ChatGPT that I need a main image for that blog post that I could use on my website above that blog post. And here we go. It generated a couple of images, and it did so without me telling it what should be on those images or which style those images should have, though you could of course do that. You could still give it some specific instructions even if those images are based on a blog post, as it's the case here. But that's something you should keep in mind. You don't have to always give ChatGPT specific image instructions. You can, but you don't have to. You can instead also start with some content, potentially, as in this case, content generated by ChatGPT, and then as a follow-up task, have ChatGPT generate some images for that content. And you can, of course, also take advantage of the fact that it's a chat. For example, here I want to have illustrations instead of pseudo-realistic images, which it generated for me here, and therefore I'm telling ChatGPT that it should generate some illustrations instead of photos. And here's the result. Even though it tells me that there was an error, I'm not sure about that, I got back some images, and as you can tell, those images are also, at least partially, kind of similar to the images I had before. That's what I meant earlier. It is aware of that chat history and of that context, and you can therefore follow up with further prompts to refine those images. For example, here I changed their style. If I would have added a bunch of details to the images, chances are that a lot of context would have been lost again and that it would have failed to generate what I wanted. Here, however, it really completed that task just as I wanted it, and it basically gave me illustration versions of those images.